All right, Adam here with lesson 8 on how to convert your canvas that we've been talking about the last few lessons into the actual Bink machine. This is the most monotonous and simplest part of the entire course. I have already done the hard work. Again, I want to think about the slate in the way that I think is the right way of approaching it, and I want the Bink machine to work for me. If I do this right, I can take these and pop them into the Bink machine. Um, just for the sake of the lesson, I'm going to go back to, I like having the salaries in order because it's easy to input this way. So I'll basically get rid of the Kyler stuff. So these are in salary order from descending, and it's helpful from a input standpoint. I'm literally going to do the input stuff here. So look, Josh Allen, I want 20% exposure. I am now going to go to the Bink machine, quarterback. I'm in players. I'm in quarterback. Try to zoom in on this a little bit so it's a little easier to read. Josh Allen is at the top. I sort by salary. Ooh, sort by salary descending. There it is. I want 20% Josh Allen, right? What did my spreadsheet say? 20%. Now, how do I actually put in 20% in the Bink machine? You've got to give the Bink machine a little bit of leeway. Not a lot. It's an optimizer, remember? And it's got to be able to fit all the different things with the different salary structures. Give it a little leeway. So here's a few rules I have. You've got to give the Bink machine a little bit of leeway on exposure. So if I want 20% Josh Allen, I'm going to set a min exposure of 18. That's right here. And I'm going to set a max exposure of 22. So my target is 20, but I'm okay with 18% and I'm okay with 22%. Definitely okay with 22%. Like, I want more if I can. All right. Then for like CJ Stroud, I don't think if I go back to my list, CJ Stroud, I have zero CJ Stroud. He's not in my quarterback player pool. I'll set my max exposure to 0. Dak Prescott, what was my Dak Prescott exposure? 20%. Same thing, right? 18, 20. And I go on down the list. A little cheat code on this, because it gets annoying to kind of scroll through this. If you can actually select this. This is actually really helpful. I like this. Hide 0 max exposure is really cool because what it did right there is it eliminated Stroud. So like in this, I think I had 0 Tua, right? I could put 0 and it's going to automatically hide Tua. Watch this. I put 0, boom. I click 0 and it immediately got rid of him. Burrow, don't want Burrow, 0. Kyler, don't want Kyler, 0. What was my next quarterback? It was like Trevor Lawrence. Anthony Richardson, 0. Here's Trevor Lawrence. How much Trevor Lawrence did I want? 20%. Trevor Lawrence, 18 to 22. This makes me go like real fast. And let me actually finish this so you can see what it looks like afterwards. Kirk Cousins, 20%, 18 to 22. Jaden Daniels, I keep going down the list. 0. If I don't put these as 0, they're going to be in the pool. I gotta be very clear about making these 0. Do I have Caleb Williams on here? No. Jaden Daniels and Minshew. 0, 0. All right, Jaden Daniels. What have Jaden Daniels? 10%. I'll do like 8 to 12 for this. So give me again a little bit of a cushion. 8 to 12 is fine. Boop, 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 boop. And then Gardner Minshew, who's the last player here, 8 to 12. And then you've got it, and I know it's a little tedious, but it's not hard. I'm literally double clicking 0, double clicking 0. They're removed. In right now, there's no projections right now. Again, this is Monday, September 2nd. Most of the time, if you just hide 0 projected points, it'll hide all these quarterbacks. But if anyone has any projection, they'll show up. You've got to manually set them to 0. I still like this because I want to be very clear about me setting guys to 0% exposure. It's going to look like this, right? Boom, I'm going to do this across the board. Okay. All right. So that's typically how that looks. And at the end of it, you'll have a very nice, pretty rostership. You'll know exactly what your exposures are, and it matches your spreadsheet to the T. It's very cool. Couple of tricks on this. I like having 4% ranges if my exposure's in this area. If I have a guy, let's say I'll go to wide receiver. Let's say I want to roster, I don't know, Devontae Adams, let's not use Devontae. Let's use a guy who you may not roster much of. Let's say you pick I don't know, Quentin Johnson. You think the Charger, you think he might have a downfield role, blah, blah, blah. You want to roster him in like 5% of lineups or 6% of lineups. Uh, if you want to roster him in 6% of lineups, you might want a little bit of a tighter range, like between 5 and 7. So if you have a small percentage allocation, give yourself some leeway still, but not as much. So give it a 2% range, like between 5 and 7%. Conversely, if you have a player, I think we had like CD Lamb. Where did my CD Lamb go? Where'd he go? Oh, I think I got a yeah. All right. For conversely, my CD Lamb exposure in the spreadsheet I had him at like 50%. I need to give a little bit more of a range. Like if I do 48 to 52, that's still for a guy who's 50% rostered, that's going to be hard for the optimizer. Think about the optimizer. It's gonna be really hard to fit in that confine. So give it a little more flexibility. Like if you want to roster 50% CD Lamb, are you gonna really be mad if he's 45 or 55? Probably not. So give it a little more leeway the more rostership or exposure you want to have to a player. Again, 50 the target, set plus or minus 5%. And you can figure this out for yourself. I like having this because it allows me to have it gives the optimizer flexibility, the Bink Machine flexibility, but it still basically does the thing that I want it to do. And that is literally how you take your spreadsheet, your canvas, and copy it into the Bink Machine. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about